fellow galactic family. Letter C. Cadhi, Prince Solar Equal in its highest expression, is a creator of worlds, in deep connection with the Elohim, in particular with the Elohim Tranquilitas. It is in connection, also deep connection with you Solar Helios and Vesta. Helios, Lord of the Dawn. Vesta, Mother of the Eternal Cycles. It is a direct ray of these consciousnesses. Has a strong connection to the Pleiadian system where, when experience in this cluster, saw some galactic wars, being one of those who tried to help the system peacemaking. In one of these wars, he met two beings already mentioned, the Pleiades 1, Midmas and 0II0 in its galactic clothing, forming a barrier to prevent the entry of a negative group in a particular sector of the Pleiades cluster. It has its currently calls the system the Pleiades to radiate, while your loved one is in Tirana's surface. There's another aspect of yourself in Tirana's surface, where she had the grace of reunion. Once, at a meeting in a huge sun, it was called to visit a cluster of planets, on the edge of a galaxy and, with some regret silent, not wanting to leave his kingdom of light, knowing that the system which visit was loaded with low power. It was called directly by the Lords Helios and Vesta, who lovingly asked him to take up such a system, the light of the solar heart. They also come to the same system and said, "We will be looking at you, just to lift your eyes and see us." He opened a beautiful smile and stood ready. It is a very beautiful being in its 2 meters high, seen in a Terran garb, all golden, with eyes on a light yellow. Incorporated next to a beautiful bee called Krishna, many gifts that were stored inside. One of these gifts is the enchantment with the vocal cords. Krishna taught him to use the vibration of the voice to the enchantment. While training, sitting amid the beautiful green forests, attracted around how many animals of every kind would fit where he was. Even the elemental in their etheric forms, materialized to hear him sing and delight. He can easily incorporate the Devic energies due to already having also incorporated one elf form. At the time, with vibrational name Etheriath. Because of this ease of contact with the kingdoms of nature, whenever they requested help, this comes right away. It was one of the direct disciples of Krishna. And it was one of those who was in the village when Magic, the Pied Piper, charmed and enlightened, after seeing the beautiful Magic, decided to join her and her master, becoming one of his disciples. Also incorporated the gift of Cupid Good, through its vibration, uniting couples only with your vibration. When certain couples are in a fight, only intending, he can restore the peace and love between them, dispelling the disagreements and enhancing the admirable strengths of couples. His eyes can intuit one to look at all the good that the other is and does, and vice versa, putting them back in a state of love and loving exchange. It is also sounds a plumber and can bring to the surface, or even the densest planes of the lower astral celestial sounds. In one of its many stocks in more water plans, he experienced the ocean floor when he was at the court of princes of the Lord Poseidon. Which he was also met with Magic, the Pied Piper, at the time when she wore a beautiful mermaid garb of the oceans, still enchanted with her singing through the flute Magic, it's being called the Pleiades 1 to bring the energy of passivity Tirana to the surface and the lower astral planes, through the enchantment produced by his vocal cords. Duns further improved when experienced the depths of the oceans, learning from mermaids to intone and vibrate powerful energies through the vocal cords. We are called to bring the power of Helios and Vesta Lords to the hearts of Terran, making the Terrans remember your divine nature. It is called to unite the broken hearts, unite couples in love once, plunged in the low vibration. called to raise awareness of the surface of the importance of keeping nature intact, because it is what keeps the energy needed for the Terran body's work to its fullest. It has the power to bless the waters at the touch of the hands, and, just to touch her immediately aquatic beings acknowledge their energetic signature and greet. So it is called to ask them for help to continue radiating love and light all the inhabitants of the surface. So be aware of the importance of unity with all of creation. Cadhi equal Old Master in the group IL, coming beings from the blue galaxy, so far, unknown galaxy the Terran. It's a beautiful blue galaxy which has not spiral shape and has a beautiful sun blue at its center. The family IL specializes in DNA. It is approaching the Toronto plan to assist in DNA restore, bringing it to its original form. They have some members of the family IL embodied in the Terran surface, including our dear IL, with function dismantle etheric sectors of the lower astral who make negative genetic experiments, such as cloning, violation of DNA original blends of experience and similar. Cadhi is the master counselor of the grouping. It is the mentor of the group, with their sum of years lived countless for the linear mind. He is one of the masters who help shape the galaxy living. It is also one of those responsible for the creation of humanoid the Pleiades system. Capelia, Taiwan the lunar equal. It is a beautiful being lunar energy, part of a group of priestesses lunar. They came to Earth thousands of years ago to anchor the energy of the Mother Goddess in the area Tirana. It passes through various systems of this galaxy Milky Way, Pleiades, Sirius, Aldebaran, and also past the Rigel system. He was also present in the aquatic realm, when he experienced a few times the mermaid garb. He also visited other galaxies along with grouping. It is very loving, very peaceful, and is, at present, 100% connected with the lunar energy, power which is on the surface. And his Capelia expression, as a member of a powerful group of priestesses lunar, measures about 1.80 m, white, big blue eyes, hands and delicate feet, blonde hair and bright. It is very similar to Galadriel. The film Lord of the Rings has something interesting in it. Always keeps his left hand stuck to the chest, the palm on the heart, getting always this way, as does everything only with his right hand. Because? No, in the following paragraphs, it has a very special ability to always use appropriate, when it comes out alone on some occasions, in rescue missions and lighting. Each phase of the moon gives you a specific power. Are they? New moon can easily quickly renew any environment, bringing it to a new cycle, new experiences, new opportunities, new relationships. In the village, paragraphs below, it was always sought by many people who had fought their particular issues and motionless. She invoked the forces and could clear all negative barriers that prevented the person from getting to new movements. Crescent moon always went at this projection. It was when in Tirana's surface, called the large fields to help farmers with their crops. Just passing between the crops, it could speed up the process, incredible as it may seem, and help for the production were 100% profitable. On one occasion, a child was brought to her to help her, because he had a problem in the bones that keep growing. He raised his right hand to keep moon, as always, his left hand on his chest, and called upon the forces. And from that moment on, the child was healed. Great power at this time, and many gathered around her so that she could teach everyone in love, quickly promoting the awakening of consciousness of those people, causing them to grow as human beings. Full moon at this point, she has a very special ability. It simply changes its form, a beautiful priestess for a very old lady, at times, when it comes into spiritual caves where black magicians interact and are quoted against the inhabitants of the earth. There in that expression, old poor lady, she always hear, what this old doing here? Answer, old, what are you doing here? And she usually responds, I have come that your life will be full. With this, they immediately lose movements of the etheric body, remaining only this consciousness. It is as if they entered into a cataleptic state. Then she adds light. With a complete breakdown of all present there, the other priestesses rescue those entities immersed in hatred arise. They make a beautiful work of doctrine and lift those heavy vibrations. Of course, after this work, some of them do not accept to go to higher levels and remain as before. However, the vast majority accepts and follows their evolutionary paths, looking to repair their faults, serving with love and light, and always very grateful to Copilia, waning moon. The Taiwan lunar, in their movements, enters the darkest valleys with a look so beautiful and charming, that even the most ignorant to be able to ignore its beauty and sweetness, getting totally paralyzed before so much beauty and light. When descends to these dense realms in this beautiful and charming guise, she sings amid those dense and violent entities. They, as if by magic, will approaching her, listening to her as if hypnotized. When approaching from a distance of about a meter, are overwhelmed by other priestesses, as if by magic, leaving behind it to capture in magnetic energies. It's a beautiful rescue work. Although it may seem a violation of free will, this work is authorized by the higher self. Those entities were present. Again, some accept follow to light when they feel themselves relief from their aches and pains. Others choose to remain in their pain. Once, in a Toronto kingdom, he was incarnated a beautiful girl named Leah, the daughter of a noble king. She was with her 18 years, very rich, but eager to know the earth and all its wonders. He decided to leave the castle and follow his dream. Of course, no one knew of her family. Went out in the dead of night alone, mounted on a horse, that much loved. Left aimlessly towards God knows. Arrived at dawn, very tired, in a village, far from his kingdom. His arrival was viewed with suspicion by all who were there. A woman came out of one of the tents and said, "My girl, come on, do not be afraid, no one will hurt you. You're too young to be looking like this, so dejected. Come on in, was waiting for you." To which she replied, "Waiting for me? Why?" The lady just smiled. After a certain time, Leah began to receive spiritual instruction. Lady called Makani or Makani, which was the spiritual leader of that village and other villages around. Too old, you knew your fate, but needed someone to continue anchoring and sustaining energy. Dukanai, instructed for a long time, about 4 years, girl named Leah. He gave her directions and showed him things I never imagined. Makani, well, on your bed disembodiment, when it all from the village and neighboring villages were present to see their passage to the realm of Dukanai, name that meant equal, the force that comes from the moon, or the moon goddess, drew close to him. Leah, the beautiful girl, already in his 22 years. Leah came and said, "Say, beloved Makano, it's still a supportive Dukanai, never forget that. Every beat of your heart says Dukanai are living on earth, and through you." By Leah said with tears in her eyes, "Yes, Maka, yes." And then, never Leah took the left hand of your chest heart chakra to never forget, no, it's still a supportive Dukanai, never forget that. Every beat of your heart says Dukanai are living on earth, and through you. By Leah said with tears in her eyes, "Yes, Maka, yes." And then, never Leah took the left hand of your chest heart chakra to never forget, the old lady, dressed in his white cloak studded denouement, one bride that was handed to her personally by Dukanai, when it materialized in front of him when he was 22, and said, "It will pass from generation to this generation will deliver you. Do not give the last physical breath, without first to consecrate my other daughter." Makanai asked Leah to remove the cover immediately as soon as he realized he was leaving the body, and Leah made carefully. Makanai said, "Behold, you consecrate the strength of Dukanai and go over you everything it received vista to cover." Immediately all strength, all luggage and spiritual strength of Makanai went to Leah. Leah got the case for some time, about 7 moons. During this period, some children of the village were playing, cover, Leah, cape. They wanted to see close to cover, it Leah always showed love carefully, pointing out every detail of the cover. And as realized, cover, Leah, Capelia. And he became known in all other villages like Capelia, Formosa Lunar. And today, this young woman is being called the Pleiades one to incorporate the surface to Capelia force and bring all your luggage to the transcendental surface. It is called to invoke the force lunar priestesses and their companions to the movement of the lunar energies on the surface. Called to go in the astral areas and even the physical Tyranoplan and move the forces of 4 moons. By the time you receive this information, you will have all the forces of all his inheritance on download process. A cover is placed on it, the cover that made Capelia. You may have some collateral effect, as a feeling of warmth in the back, especially in the neck. Gabriel, it's something that can happen, not necessarily going to happen, but if you happen to stay quiet. You have the look of Dukanai on each other and can move powerful forces on the surface. Its mentor the old Makanai, which has always been present in their incarnations, where the most recent was when incarnated again together in Salem, where they were judged in the very year of 1692. Makanai has a name in the Church Catholic, which will not be mentioned here. It is also being called to open up more to his clairvoyance channel, which will help many souls on planetary surfaces and in the astral. It has deep connection with the so-called Archangel Michael and Nefertiti that call and can call them whenever you want and will be promptly answered. Also being called to form your group on the surface, where through meditation following the forces of 4 moons bring powerful streams of light to earth. Boot equal Italy. Scholarships tools equal extra energy or extra powers given to light workers, to further facilitate the creative capacity. But for this it is necessary that the receiver in the case, the light worker, is in a Christ alignment and being consistent with the teaching/preaching. Binary equal. There is also detailed information on binary, but I believe that is a reference to 2 new stars or 2 large ships mothers to be seen with the naked eye. Central base equal command staff of the forces of light who attend the release of the earth and this whole system of the dark forces.